Hey there, friend. So glad that you've decided to join me in this. I'm really excited just to share with you an experience I had recently. So last week, of course, I was reviewing how this past year went. This was our first year of homeschooling, and just kind of jumped in mid-year. Had a fifth grader and a kindergartner. Both have moved on. So we're continuing our pursuit of this homeschooling education, and I thought it would be helpful to attend a conference with my husband, which we did. We went to the Lancaster CHAP conference. CHAP is an acronym. It stands for, and I want to make sure I read it right so I don't get it wrong, but it's the Christian Homeschool Association of Pennsylvania. They've been around for many, many years, and I've heard many good things about the conference, so I decided, you know what, I really need to attend this. And they actually have a smaller, similar conference that is happening in Pittsburgh, but it's not till the end of the summer, and I was really wanting to get a jump start on figuring out how we want to go about year two. So grateful that my husband Jared got to go with me, because let me tell you what, there was a lot to take in, and so having another set of eyes and ears with me was helpful to just process it all. So let me just read to you kind of their theme for this year, which was walking by faith and not by sight, and I really believe that's what I've been doing since I said yes to this endeavor. Because we don't know the outcome of any pursuit or anything, really, any day. It's really a matter of putting our faith in action and just, allowing the Lord to lead and guide you. So definitely walking by faith and not by sight in this venture, but definitely feeling like I have a better perspective on things, having experienced homeschooling now for the last 7 months, preparing my heart for what's to come, and I just wanted to come on and share with you guys a few thoughts, and also all of the curriculum finds, and why I'm choosing what I'm choosing. So first, let me just share with you, we had a ton of workshops to choose from, and we couldn't attend them all. Obviously, there were like 60 plus workshops each day of the event. There was a Friday session and a Saturday session, and so I'll just read to you the titles. They were the ones that kind of most piqued my interest, and then I'll share with you guys what we found at the Expo. So the first one we attended was When the Bible History and World History Meet Face to Face. The other one we attended was How to Teach Reading. It May Not Be Easy as You Think. Multi-grade, multi-age, all together without mom losing her mind. The 3 no-fail strategy for ending the screen time struggle. How and why we plan our week. Writers in residence, inspiring your kids to write their hearts out. Getting started in homeschool basics for PA. That was all on day 1. Day 2, we did Call to Arms, the guts and glory of the courageous fatherhood. And can I just tell you how attractive it is to see so many men like standing for their families and standing for their kids and investing in themselves on a Saturday regarding homeschooling their children. Like, to me, that was just a beautiful thing. And they had several workshops that were specifically geared to dads and the fathers, and I found that to be really cool. So again, just grateful that Jared was there with me. Homeschool truths that I keep learning. Let's see. The good, the bad, and the ugly of real homeschool. Why should my homeschooler take online classes? Escapism. Avoiding the snares of media. That was really powerful. And strategies to teach a struggling reader. So that's only like brushing the surface of what we got to see, hear, and experience in terms of workshops. And then of course they had the Expo, and the Expo was this huge hall that had vendors, I mean, you can't even imagine. It was packed. And one of the things that I read and heard about going into the conference, especially as a new person, was you have to have a plan. You have to have some sort of vision, some sort of like intention going in as far as what you want to get out, because you can quickly be overwhelmed. And so going in with a strategy and a plan is something that we definitely did do. Not to a great degree, but having had some experience already with our kids in the homeschool arena, I had a sense of what I was looking for, and I made my list and I had a plan. And when attending the Expo, another tip that I heard people talk about was go on your first day to the Expo and just look, right? Just search over things, pick things up, leaf through them, but don't purchase anything, right? Because there again, like, you can get overwhelmed, and you could potentially be spending lots of money on all kinds of curriculum if you don't have a plan, okay? So I definitely had a budget, I definitely had a plan, and so we took a look, went back to our hotel that night, kind of weeded through some things, made a list, like fine-tuned the list, and then went back into the arena and came out with some what I think are going to be some pretty cool tools that we use for the coming year. So without further ado, I have a list of all the curriculum finds, and I'm not going to go into any great depth of what each one is, just to share with you what they are and why I chose them, and then I'll put links to various websites if any of you are interested in checking it out further for yourself. And who knows, nothing's written in stone, so things could change, but this is kind of like my thought process that I'm having here, preliminary thought process. Yeah. All right, so the first thing, which I believe is the most important, is of course, our time and relationship with God and being in His Word. And I came across this really, really cool curriculum, which helps kids not only spend time in the Word, but they get to practice their handwriting skills, their fine motor development, if they're the younger ones, vocab, Bible memorization. So it's basically writing through the Bible. And we're going to be studying the book of Philippians. And there's a companion to it. So the kids each day will get to work on, a sheet or two in the workbook, mastering their skills of handwriting and vocab, dictation, Bible memorization. But here it is, right through the Bible mastery. And again, we're focusing on Philippians. I realize this is probably backwards, so I apologize. This is Mackenzie's workbook, and then this one is Tyler's. His is a little bit thicker because there's more pages for him to like color and draw and do more hands-on things that little ones like to do. So that's his. And then we also got a companion for it, so we could incorporate kind of like a family devotional time each week on the theme. So we've got, the heart of humility, teaching your kids to put others first, and it's a family study on the book of Philippians. So there we go. So that's my first and exciting find. So again, focusing on the Bible, handwriting, vocab, and it's something that both Kenzie and Tyler and we can sit down and do together. So there's some subjects that work really well for like kind of an all-in-one schoolhouse kind of feel, where we're doing subject matter together. And then of course there's other parts of our day where we would, Mackenzie would be doing something else and Tyler would be doing something else. So the next find is for geography and history. So one of the things that we hope to do with our family is visit all 50 states. Like, how cool, right? And in doing so, I would like to start teaching the kids a little bit about each state that we visit. So currently residing in Pennsylvania, this is our home state, so I thought, this would be a great place for us to start. And we're really not at a point where we're ready to launch into traveling all throughout the states just yet. So but we found this really cool, these cool lessons where each state has its own book. So we've got the Pennsylvania State History Student Booklet, and we've got a notebook for Kenzie, and a fun little state history notebook for Tyler, and then of course Mama's lesson plans, the master lesson plan book. And the other cool thing about this is that it's also from a Christian perspective. So the people who've put this curriculum together, husband and wife, they've done it for all 50 states. And so this is going to be part of what we do for history and geography, and something that we get to do together as a family. So really excited about that one. The next one is, all right, so I can't show you anything visual, because the other subjects I have listed here are things that we're participating in a local co-op that meets every Friday, and there are basically 3 or 4 periods in the co-op weekly. So one, the kids are going to be able to connect with other homeschooling families in the area, which will be nice, because we kind of off and on did that this past year, but I'm really looking forward to getting plugged into something that we can participate and contribute to on a weekly basis. So that's in the works, that's in our plans. And part of the enrichment classes, if you will, or periods that the homeschool moms are each kind of taking turns facilitating, we've got gym class, music class, art class, and science class. So all of those are going to be things that we can experience together in our co-op weekly, and then of course there'll be at-home activities to do leading up to the next time we get together. So that's both for Tyler and Mackenzie. We will be pulling from Easy Peasy, which we used exclusively this past year. And what I'm doing is, as I learn my kids' strengths and weaknesses and their style of learning, I really favor the eclectic approach, where you're kind of meal piecing things together because you can customize your kids' education and experience. So in addition to the science experiments and things that we'll be doing with the co-op, our theme for this year in Easy Peasy is zoology. So we'll be going through Easy Peasy's day-to-day assignments in that theme. So really excited about that. Let's see. Okay, so then this is kind of where things segregate, would be the math, the reading. One of the things I got to listen in on was a workshop by a woman who was very passionate about equipping students to take online classes. And I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I pulled it out. Oh yeah, I did. So we came across this vendor called Luma Learn. And basically they are online classes. There's a ton to choose from. And it's basically the lady who was presenting information regarding Luma Learn likened it to Amazon, but for education. And I thought it was the coolest thing. By the way, if you hear any loud noises, it's because we are getting the grass mowed. Today is mow the grass day, even though it's cloudy and it's probably going to thunderstorm in a matter of minutes. Luma Learn is a marketplace for educators and for students. And I find that it's probably one of the coolest things. She shared a lot of statistics with us. One of the unique things was how much of our education is moving in this direction. 99.9% of all colleges and universities have some type of online learning for students who are enrolling into their programs. And so, you know, she stressed the importance of how important even brick and mortar schools. So even if my children were still to be enrolled in a public school setting, even public schools, she shared that they too see the importance of students getting equipped to know how to navigate an online school experience and setting. And so for that reason, I'm leaning towards, I haven't totally made the decision yet, but I'm leaning towards having Mackenzie take her math course online. And we would just choose it from the Luma Learn marketplace. And so it would be, you know, an actual teacher, other students, but in an online classroom. So that I found really fascinating, and I think especially for math, you know, Kenzie's she's a lot like her mama in a lot of ways, and I feel as though not only would this online experience give her the tools necessary to become more familiar with that type of learning, but having an actual teacher outside of her mom, being that most of her education has been in the public school setting, she really missed that. She really missed having another teacher and classmates. I think the co-op this coming year will really kind of fill in the gaps to those needs a little bit more. But I just felt like this would be another layer of transitioning her. You know, we're still, even though we completed year one, like going into this next year will still be I feel a transition year. So we've had a lot of changes in our family, and I feel like maybe making this available to Mackenzie as part of her curriculum experience for year 2 would be super helpful. So that's what I'm leaning towards. Again, I'm gonna link the website so that you guys can check them out, but I really appreciate this idea because I feel like it's a win-win for everybody. You know, Luma Learn is a marketplace for education, and whoever's teaching, like, they're very passionate about whatever they are signed up to teach. And so when you get an educator paired with your child who is passionate about the area of study that they're working on, like, that's a win, right? It's a win for the teacher, and it's a win for the kid. So very excited about that one. The other possibility for math would be teaching textbooks. So as I run into people who are homeschooling their kids, and you know, one of the fears I come across that homeschool moms have, or any parent has, would be like, you know, as you advance into the higher levels of math, how do you teach that? So teaching textbooks, I keep hearing over and over again as something many people are finding valuable and success with. So so that's another possibility. So it's either going to be the Luma Learn for math or teaching textbooks. I haven't fully decided yet, but there it is. As far as Tyler goes for math, you know, we're entering first grade. So we're just going to continue following the scope and sequence that's on Easy Peasy. Again, one of the things that I have to keep in mind as an RV homeschooling mom, we're limited with space. So to have, you know, textbooks and books for all these various subjects would be a little overwhelming for our space. So trying to keep that to the minimum as much as we can, because the last subject is a huge subject, especially for Mackenzie, and that is language arts. So I got to, her name is Deborah Bell, and again, I'll link her website, but look at this, guys. This is quite the stack, right? This is a stack. Okay, so this is, it's called Readers in Residence and Writers in Residence. And again, I'll probably make another video once we get into this to review how I feel you know, whether we like it or not, but I was just so like inspired and empowered by this woman who really, you know, as far as success in school goes, like having the ability to communicate well, you know, you've got to get good at reading. You got to get good at writing and communicating. Like, that's pretty important. And as somebody who looks back on my own education and thinks, yeah, reading and writing, definitely on the top of the list. So, whereas I might not have invested a lot financially in other areas, this was one that I was really willing to lay some money down on. So these two books are Mama's Answer Keys, which are going to be super helpful, right? And then we've got the textbook and the workbook for Mackenzie. So this is her entire, for the year, language arts course for writing. And then we've got the other one for reading. So we'll see how that goes and we'll let you know. For Tyler, again, we'll follow the material on Easy Peasy, but I also attended several workshops with a reading specialist, and one of the things I brought home with me was a test. So, you know, knowing how to teach reading is not easy, but this reading specialist has designed and put together a series of 5 different tests where you can evaluate your kid on different areas such as phonetic awareness, sight words, fluency, comprehension. And then the cool thing about having this tool in your home is that you can retest. So you can kind of see, evaluate their progress. And then based on, you know, where they fall, then you can use tools that would meet those specific areas, right? Because, you know, Tyler's not struggling in all of those areas, but it certainly helps to know like where the weak links are and then go from there. So the first part of our year is really going to be kind of focused on evaluating where he's at with that, and then also using the free online tools that we have available to us through Easy Peasy for his reading. And then last but not least, how's Mama going to keep this all straight? Well, Deborah Bell also designed this really cool, it's called the Ultimate Homeschool Planner. And let me just see if I can leaf through this. So there's guides in the family planner that you can set your priorities, create your resource list. It has monthly and weekly plans, and then it also serves as records. So, you know, at the end of each school year, you have to be evaluated for your work and the things that you did throughout the year. And this is just a great place to keep track of it all. So I'm really excited to plan it all out. They say to do it in pencil. I believe that. And then of course in the back of the book, you know, being that she's an experienced homeschooling mom, teacher, educator, like she also gave some really great helpful tips in the back of the book. So this is something I'm using to kind of keep everything aligned. And then I also got one for Mackenzie because, you know, Mackenzie's at a stage in her journey where she really needs to get into the habit of using a calendar, making her list of things, you know, the assignments that she has for the day, and charting through, checking things off and stuff like that, setting goals, and really doing that independently. So Mama's going to fill up her calendar and master list, and then at the beginning of each week, I'll sit down with Mackenzie and have her copy into her little journal and calendar, you know, things that pertain to her. So that's just a skill that we're going to work on this year and develop. And then just to kind of end things here, you guys, you know, I took a lot of notes and I took a lot of great tips away from my time at the conference, but one that sticks out the most to me would be this quote right here. One of the most important tasks to teach our children is how to learn. Not what to learn necessarily, but how to learn, and to give them a desire to learn. And I couldn't agree with that more. In fact, I believe that, the teacher appears when the student is ready. And so I'm looking forward to, making our plans, but also keeping within the plans an openness and flexibility to see what God will do in our midst for this coming year. But those are my thoughts, and I hope that any and all of that may inspire you, or encourage you that if you're looking into this or you're currently doing this, like, you can do it. We can do this. Again, I'll link all these things in the post above, so if you wanted to check out anything further. And then probably in the coming school year, as we get started, I will just I'll try to do reviews on each of the things that we're using. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.